Alright, so we made a text-based game that allows the player to say different commands based off the room they're in, and their commands will affect the world around them. There are a set of commands that allows you to get to the end of the game and escape this dungeon. Certain commands can also lead to the player's death. Here's a quick compile. You can see we already had it compiled, but it is up to date and the compile does succeed. We use a player class to store details about the player that are created in the beginning in character creation, which you will see in just a minute. And we have several different methods based off the different locations the player is at, and a return system with a switch that allows you to go to different rooms as you progress through the game. And here, let's go. So initially, there's a character creator in which you choose certain details about your player, such as your gender, a name. The name is able to accept spaces since it uses the get line instead of just the default sin. And allows you to use a class. The class doesn't really affect much right now. We plan on having it affect more, but it still works. You can see the character creator is a success. Start at level 1. Here's your details. And then here are different details about your character. And this is the first description you face. You're in a small room, and your goal is to figure out how to get out of it. You might try things like opening the door. Door's locked. Mentions you're thirsty. Maybe you'd like to drink. Well, you have nothing to drink. If you try to move around, oops, as you can see, it also deals with invalid commands. Alright, but the real thing to do here is to knock, which would take the player a frustratingly long time to figure out. But for the sake of time, we'll continue. So now you've succeeded in defeating this man and escaping the very first room. There's a lot of things like this. Now we also have an inventory system. You can see there's a sword here now. I can take it, and now I'll have the sword. You can kill the man here, and if you don't have the sword, you won't be able to. Also, the sword can get blunted, so when that happens, the sword would also not be useful. And things about the previous rooms do change, so like now I can go backward into the previous room, and as you can see, the corridor is now open. The door is now open to the corridor. For the sake of time, I'm just going to continue somewhat through the game here just to show you different places, different commands. There's a way to sharpen the sword here if you end up blunting your sword. Basically resets the state of the sword. Now here's a little puzzle. It's supposed to take a while for you to figure this out. And lots of different things you can go back and forth. A lot of different ways you can die. But basically, the end of this part is where you actually solve this little riddle at the door here, and you're supposed to use the sword to carve the answer onto the door. And anyway, the answer is your name, and it will accept your name or the word name. So, for example, I named myself James Foreman. So if I wrote James Foreman here, it would accept it, but also name works. But like, let's try not getting it correct. Well, actually, for the sake of time, let's continue onward. See, now you succeed in opening the door. Get up. You can escape the cave. That's technically the end. There's a lot of little nuances that I didn't show for the sake of time inside where you can die and such. But that's basically the end of it.